Hi, I'm Patricia Allingham Carlson, and this is my video, Watercolor Sponge Technique. This is the demonstration video. I did not complete completed work in this, but I was teaching a class the other day, and I saw a perfect opportunity to use a sponge to make the feathery kind of foliage that you can create with it. I mentioned it to one of my students, and she said, I've never tried it. I've seen people doing it. I really am not sure of how to use it. So I said, let's try. I got out some sea sponges that I had gotten from a friend and did some demonstration work. It was fun and it worked well. So we decided, or I decided, I should say, that I was going to do a demonstration video, and that's what I'm doing now. Hope you enjoy it and keep on painting. Started with a piece of scrap paper and got out my sea sponges, which have a nice random texture to them. Man-made sponges are very regular with the holes and the bumps. Sea sponges are natural. I washed them in soap and water, and then I dried them off carefully to get out any colors that were left in them from last usage. Then I decided I would do a simple little patch of woods. And since the photograph I was looking at had some whitish sycamore trees in the mix, I decided to do some masking with my Peebo before I started painting. I thought the masking and the white might add something to the whole work. I was using the end of the brush, by the way. That cleans up very easily. Whereas the hair of the brush, even with a synthetic, you better wash it right away after use. When it was just about dry, and I was impatient, I could start to paint. I went into my lightest colors first, which happened to be a bright autumn yellow. The lightest colors were applied first, and I am working very, very lightly and loosely. I do not want to add giant dark clumps of foliage because that's not what I was seeing in the picture. I wanted it to be feathery and attractive. After I got the light colors on the sun source side, which I'm marking up here on my right side, I began to add the darker colors. If the darker colors were in my sponge to start, I would have had to take everything and rinse it off carefully. But because I had only bright yellow in my sponge at this point, I could easily go to a darker color. Now you can see I'm applying it in clumps. The lighter area clump, and beneath the lighter area clump, a darker area, which adds some shadow and some depth. In this case, I've used yellow, brown, purple, and some orange. And now I'm making a deeper base at the bottom of where the trees come in to the ground. I've mixed together some brown and some green, using a very simple palette, as you can see above. Just above in my video cam. These happen to be Prang. Prang provide a nice, rich color. They're color fast and they're a very good product. They're also very easy and convenient to carry. If you're going on a hike or going to paint away from your home, quite convenient to carry a little palette like that. So I've got the tree trunks on. I'm painting some in brown. I'm painting some, or leaving some as a whited out area. I've got the ground on, which I've made darker. And I think I can feel a forest emerging there. There's a couple other things I wanted to show you about how I use a sponge, just to mess around with it. Now, a sponge sometimes has a corner side. And if you can hone in on this corner, you can actually apply impressionistic looking lines with your sponge, which I just did at the base there. You can make some tree branches. You can get some control over it. Of course, you're going to get dirty hands, but it's watercolor. Now, there you see I'm using that corner of the sponge to make some branches and actually make a tree. It occurred to me that the more I cover over the white masked out area branches and trunks, the more they'll show when I take the masking off. Here's another use for a sponge. If you drag it, you can get a very nice hair or fur effect. You can also get a weed effect. So I've just put the sponge down there at the lower part and dragged it, and you could see the hairy, weedy effect I got. Now I'm quickly using my finger to take off the masking fluid. And to make it stand out just a little more, I'm putting some shaded side and some darker color in various areas where I have masked. This will help the white to stand out more. I'm sure there's other ways to use a sponge in watercolor as well as with other media. If you have any ideas or suggestions you'd like to share, I'd love to see them in comments. Please feel free to write. I want to learn new things too, and I'm always on the lookout for new techniques and new usages for different media. Here I'm making some finer branches going up through the tops of the trees. And something I want to repeat myself on is I don't make these branches continuous. They don't show everywhere, but rather they peek in and out of the leaves. If they were continuous and looked perfect, then they would not look as natural. But I do try to make the trunks and the major branches peek in and out, weave in and out, get covered over by clumps. And I think that adds to the naturalness of the appearance of the forest or the tree. What do you think? I guess wintertime is the time to show the whole tree, when there's no leaves left. Adding a little bit more color into the bottom layer of the bushy forest base. I'm liking this picture as I work. I think I might make it into my next painting. Hope you enjoyed my video. Hope you learned a little something. And experimenting on a piece of scrap paper is always a lot of fun. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, please, and ring the bell. You can subscribe and not miss a single future video. I hope you have a good day and keep on painting.